Hi and welcome to this first video where I'm going to walk you through Remix, the Solidity integrated development environment that's running directly in the browser. These first few videos will be all about the topics that you need in order to run this tic-tac-toe game on the Ethereum platform and with Web3 and Truffle. So let's get started and let's dive into Remix. You can find Remix on remix.ethereum.org. It's running in the browser, so you don't need to install anything. You can basically just open your browser and run Remix. On the left side, you see a file browser. You see that I have a lot of files already. And if you add a new file, let's call it untitled.solidity, then first of all, it will open and it will also be here in the left side browser window with the files. Let me remove this file again. In the center, you have the editor window. So I have already a very small contract here and you can edit the file, you can write, and it will also show you any warnings or errors here on the left side. When there is anything that pops up as an error, you see that there is a parser error right now. On the bottom, there is a log window, and we are going to use this quite a lot in this course. Let's just say that this will output all the transactions that happen with Remix and the Ethereum blockchain. On the right side, you have several tabs. You have compile, run, settings, analysis, debugger, and support. Let me make this smaller here. And support. Now, I've usually set this to auto-compile, so every time I make a change, it will automatically compile the contract to EVM assembly or bytecode. Then on the Run tab, you have the environment selector. So in the environment selector, you have three choices. The JavaScript virtual machine is an in-memory blockchain that's running only in your browser to test, to prototype, to play around. Nothing can go wrong. You don't have to pay any ether. You can really just focus on coding. And later on, when coding is finished, you can publish it to the real blockchain. You have injected Web3. This is when you're using something like Mist or MetaMask. MetaMask is going to be covered in a later section in this course. Then you will get Web3 access or an access to the blockchain via Web3, and this will be injected into the browser. And then you also have a Web3 provider. If you have a full node running somewhere, then you can connect to this full node via IPC or RPC directly from Remix. So usually I set this to JavaScript virtual machine. This also gives me 5 accounts that I can use directly in the browser. They will be pre-populated with 100 ether each, so I can really play around. I can also set a gas limit or send ether along if I'm interacting with a contract. Now, to run this contract, it doesn't do anything right now, but if I want to run it, I can just basically select the contract that I want to run from this drop-down and click create. And then I have here a new instance of my contract where I can interact with it. Now, obviously, I have no functions, I have no variables, I have nothing. So basically, I just have a contract running that doesn't do anything on my in-memory blockchain right now. Now let's direct our attention down to the logging window. You can see that every time we're interacting with a contract, now we created one, we have a new log output here, and we can drill into the actual transaction. And what that all means is covered in later videos. Just say that it's here if you need it, and if something is going wrong, then it will also output here an exception and tell you what went wrong. Which also brings me to the debugger. If you want to drill down into a certain transaction, you can just click here on the debug button and it will bring up the step-by-step debugger here in Remix. And you can really step-by-step drill down into the instructions that were executed during this transaction. Now I stop this debugging session again, and we have reached the end of this very first lecture. Now you know where you can run Remix, where you can find Remix, how you can create new files, where to edit the files, and how to execute the files onto this in-memory blockchain.